Now then guys, how you doing? So today, Deportivo La Coruña, Super Depor, whatever happened to them, you know? Late 90s, early noughties, an absolute force to be reckoned with, but by 2014, the financial crisis was out of control, and they've just suffered relegation after relegation, and find themselves in the Spanish third tier. So we got a lot of work today to return Deportivo to their former glory. You know, we need some back-to-back promotions, we need to get ourselves into La Liga as soon as possible, but can we win some silverware by the end of it? That's the big thing. Will we get any cup silverware? It's very unlikely that we're going to lift that La Liga title. However, if we can lift the Copa del Rey, that will be absolutely massive. So if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Would mean a lot as this channel continues to grow. And like I always say, if you're a regular viewer on this channel, thank you very much for your support. It means a lot. But let's get in to rebuilding Super Depor. So here we go then guys, I'm super excited about rebuilding this one. I do enjoy rebuilding the clubs that are further down the pyramid. You know, it's great when you're taking over a Manchester United, you've got all that money to spend and you can really go out and be a force to be reckoned with. However, we've got to build these guys from the pits of the Spanish leagues. Now, so when we look at the club history then, you can see a second place finish in 2000-2001 and then the season after, then two third place finishes, then it starts to go a bit more mid-table before they're relegated in 2011. They then bounce straight back up only to be relegated again, and then they bounce up again where they mince about in the bottom half of the table before being relegated for the final time in 2018. They then manage a sixth place finish in Spain's second tier before being relegated again, a 19th place finish. They've had one season in the third tier where they got an 8th place finish, but it's not ideal. They actually won the Liga at the turn of the millennium. They've been doing alright, like I say, the last bit of silverware was in 2014, obviously that was our promotion. The Supercopa in 2002, the Copa del Rey, when did the last win that? 2002. So they've got some pedigree. We have just got a lot to do, but it's when we look at these finances. We've got £1.5 million to spend, 100% of transfer revenue. That is massive. You know, 1.5 million in the third tier is not bad going at all. Wage budget wise, we're bang on that, 91,000. There's other players coming in potentially that could be 97,000. Overall balance is £9 million. Debt and loan wise, you know, it's not too bad at all. Get promotions and get some decent transfers in. That'll be zero in no time. I just touched on transfers. There's plenty happened already. We sold Majed Sadiq for 1.5 million to Genk. I'll take that. Money in the bank. Decent player. But we've had plenty of players in on free transfers as well. So no money spent in this transfer window yet. What about the club vision then? How's that going? So the 5-year plan is to work within the wage budget. The end of the current season is promotion by winning the league. 100%. That is what we've got to do. We're not going to mess around for a couple of seasons in the lower leagues and need to have a back-to-back promotion. They want us to work towards a top half finish. For me, that's not going to happen. That's over the next 5 seasons. Realistically, like I say, promotion this season, promotion next season, season 3 in the Liga, try and consolidate. You know, it's unlikely that we're going to get European football within these 5 years. However, we can really push on in the cup competitions. So looking at the competitions then, looks like we're just in the one for now in Asta League. Obviously, we get entered into the Copa del Rey later on. However, to start with that, you know, the main priority is getting promoted. So squad dynamics wise then, they're happy to have me there apparently. Team cohesion is abysmal, club atmosphere is average, but managerial support is good. Top influencers wise there, my club captain, Barangantinos, he supports us, as well as 10 other players. I've got 12 players that have no real opinion of us, but nobody opposes me on day one, which is absolutely fantastic. But what about this squad then? When we look at the team, plenty of 4-star potential players there. We are stacked in fairness. Our worst player being a 3-star player is not bad going at all. And then when we look at our highest rated player, Jurgen Eltemim, currently on loan from Watford. He played 41 times in the Liga 2 last season. Obviously, he's dropped down even further. But he's not a bad player, but you want to be a Depor, surely. The opportunity to get a promotion here. I think anything other than a promotion is obviously going to end up with me being sacked. This could be over in season 1, but we've got plenty of good players. Looking at the wages then, my highest paid player is Ian McKay. A Spaniard apparently, obviously Scottish nationality as well. That's the most Spanish name you're ever going to hear. Ian McKay. Where was he born for information's sake? He was born in Coruña. So he wasn't even born in Spain. He must have, obviously, a Spanish mum or dad. So what about squad depth then when we're looking at it? At the moment, tactically, we're going to play a 4-2-3-1, which we'll go through once I've brought some players in. But Menundo, the striker, is the best player up front. A 30-year-old Spaniard. He's okay. Finished 11, composure 11. Got decent acceleration and pace. Not going to set the world alight. Behind him then, Menundo is apparently the best player in those positions as well. With Carlos Doncel. He's okay. 24-year-old Spaniard. Not bad either. Current ability 3.5 star. And out on the other side, Victor Garcia. He's not that great, if I'm honest. Then we work our way into the midfield. We've got Borja Granero. He's decent, 31-year-old. He'll do a job for us. Current ability 3-star. Probably one of the worst players at the club when we're just looking at those 3-star players. He had a season with us last season where he played 23 games. Then at the back, we could probably do with a better player out on the left-hand side, as Hernandez is our best player out there. He's not very good. And out on the other side then, Alberto Benito. What a name that is. He's okay. He's average. Me centre-back, Borja Granero again. And Trigueros, is that how you pronounce it? I would assume so. He's got decent defensive technicals. Heading 14, marking 13, tackling 12, strength 13 as well. 28-year-old. We'll get a couple of seasons out of him. And the best goalkeeper at the club is Ian McKay. Right, okay, and he's 34-year-old. So I probably, out of all of that, need a left-back and a goalkeeper, I would say. What about the development centre then? What have we got? So potentially we've got some really good player. Noel Lopez, striker. 18-year-old. Probably get him out on loan. He's not quite ready yet. But then Trilly. Trilly's a player that I've had in other rebuilds. 18-year-old at the minute. Develops into a really good player. Potential ability 5-star. So for him, I'm going to move him to the senior squad. I think that's the way to go. Let's get him involved. David Mellor, a young winger. He's quite decent as well. Some of these players could develop really nicely. Danny Barcia, 18-year-old centre-back. Heading, mark and tackling. I'm going to get him in there as well. Let's get him moved to the senior squad as well. So we've got a couple of players from the development centre promoted, which is absolutely massive. As we're probably going to use a lot of these players that are already at the club. But I have identified the areas that we need to improve. So what we're going to do then, guys, we're going to move forward throughout the first summer transfer window. We're going to come back. I haven't got too much to spend, £1.5 million. I may spend all that on one player. But the aim of the game is a promotion this season. So let's get rebuilding. Right then, so the transfer window is done, and we haven't done too much in fairness. Finances wise, I've got 472k left. I'm just spending over the wage budget. I'll sort that out shortly. But overall balance is £9 million. Debt and loans, you know, not a lot has happened there. I don't expect it to over the next couple of seasons. But I've managed to bring two players in. So the first player in is Igor Gomez. Joins us from Barcelona from their B side. 105k we paid for him. They spent 300k on him. I like the look of him. 20-year-old Brazilian. Heading 12, marking 11, tackling 12. Strength 12 as well. For me, he's only going to get better. His current ability is 2.5 star. Potential ability could be 4.5 star. And he can play across the back four as well. Predominantly he's a centre-back. However, he can go out on that right-hand side. And then I did want to strengthen out on the left-hand side. So again, I've gone to Barcelona. Their B-side again. They spent 450k on him. I've brought him in for 575k. Now, Musa Endai is 19. His current ability is 2.5 star. Potential ability 4 star. Can play in the centre of mid-defence or at left-back. But overall, quite an all-rounded player again. And that is it then, so two players brought in. I wasn't able to bring in a better goalkeeper, so we're going to stick with Ian McKay for this one. As top influencers wise then, anybody opposes after that transfer window. Now I've got 13 players supporters, 12 players that have no real opinion of us. But it's all about the tactics. So what I'm going to play is a tick-attack. You've got to play a tick-attacker in Spain, haven't you? On a positive mentality, we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 for the time being. You know, I like the two up top, so we may move to two up top and play 4-2-4. I'm not quite sure yet. But this is my starting 11 as it stands. So we've got McKay, Hernandez, Granero, Berganatinos and Benito at the back. With Di Vicente and Valares in the middle. Donkel, Miku and Victor Garcia out wide. And Quilez up front. Like, can he get some goals? He needs some. 12 finishing, 9 composure. Balance 5 as well. We may not get too much out of him. He got 13 goals last season though. I don't really know how these leagues work. I would assume they're a couple of leagues below. But it's a big ask. Let's be honest. It's a big ask for him to get us plenty of goals. So looking at the season preview then, we have favourites to win 5-6 to finish in top spot. We don't have any players in the Media Dream 11 though. That is worrying, I'm going to be honest. You know, I would have thought with us being favourites from promotion that we'd have had at least one player in that Media Dream 11, but it's not meant to be. So yeah, quite a quick transfer window this one as we haven't done too much. there's not too much to talk about, as the aim is obviously just to get promoted. I think we've got a team strong enough to finish in first place anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward to the end of Season 1, where hopefully this one's been a formality and we've been promoted. I think if I haven't finished in top spot and gained automatic promotion, it's likely that I'm going to lose my job. So fingers crossed we make it into Season 2. Right guys, so Season 1 is down and we've made our work of it, but we've got promoted. We've done what we set out to do. 81 points on the board, exactly the same as Extremadura. Yeah, that'll do. That's about right, innit? Got 81 points. We finished level with them. Their goal difference was far superior, but I'm assuming when we look at the rules that, yeah, results between teams. So we'll just confirm those results between teams. So we can see here that we beat them 2-1, then drew 0-0. That's what's got us the win. So looking at the league table then, we played 38 games, won 23, drew 12 games, but only lost 3 games. Scored 49, conceded 21, solid at the back. A goal difference of plus 28, 81 points on the board. And what about the past positions then? Were we top for the majority of the season? For the majority of the season, like I say. Extremadura then, they finished in second. They were in the top 2 more or less all the way through. Yes, the drop down there, the 1-1 draw with Real Santander, but yeah, not bad for us at all. We've done what we set out to do. Like I say, we got promoted and we can continue this rebuild. So for finances then, 711k, that's what we've got. We haven't even got £1 million to spend next season. That is shocking. Wage budget wise, and 134k when we're spending 93k. So that's good. Wages are kind to us. I may be able to move some of that around to get some transfer budget in. We've got £3 million in the overall balance, and that net debt, £26 million. So how have the board reacted to the performance then? I scored a B. To summarise, the board are very pleased with your overall leadership of the team. We're on course to work within the wage budget and have passed the other objectives. The Copa del Rey, we reached the 3rd round. Fantastic there. As when we look at the rest of the competitions then, we're knocked out in the 4th round by Levante. And like I say, winning the league, massive. 15 goals for Quilez, and I didn't want to pin my hopes on the guy, so that's not bad going. Dynamics wise then, team cohesion good, club atmosphere is excellent, and my Geo support is excellent. I've got players that want to start more games, not overly worried about that. But when we look at the hierarchy now, I've got 19 team leaders and 5 players that have no real opinion of us, but nobody opposes us. So looking at the player stats, and our top goal scorer is Quilez with 16. How did he get on in comparison to everybody else in the league? Was he the top scorer? Was he? He wasn't even in the top 10. Ruben Mesa scored 28 goals. Is he any good? He's okay, 30-year-old. Currently valued at 1.3 million as well. So the highest average rating now was Alberto Benito at a 7.46. Most assists was Menudo with 8. Best pass completion was Granero with 99%. Most player of the match awards goes to Benito with 9. Most yellow cards, Hector Hernandez with 7. And most red cards was Hernandez with 1. Looking at the team stats, then we scored 49 goals, which is the 9th best, but we only conceded 21, which was the best in the league. We've got promoted basically on a defensive solidarity. Yellow cards wise then, 35, which was the 6th best. Red card 1, which is the 8th worst, and we had the best average attendance at just over 18,000. So that's it then, guys. That is Season 1 down. I've got £100 million to spend out going into Season 2, where we're now in the Spanish 2nd tier. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this transfer window out the way. Hopefully I've done enough. There's going to be a lot of wheeling and dealing, but if I'm lucky, I'll have made a team good enough to get us promoted back to La Liga next season. Right then guys, so Season 2 transfer window is out the way, and I'm not as optimistic as I first was at the start of the episode when I said I was looking for back-to-back promotions. Now, I have strengthened wisely. I think, you know, we didn't have a lot of money to spend, but I've brought some good players in. I've let some of the deadwood leave the club as well. But some of the teams in this division are quality, and I do worry that we've got to break into the top 6 first of all, just to try and get into the playoff places. That we may not have enough about us this season. It may be a season of consolidation and we go again in Season 3. But I'm getting my excuses in early. You know, we may be alright. We may get promotion. Again, the top 2 teams get promoted, so we can push for that. But when we look at the finances and how it went on, I've still got 154k in the transfer budget. This 25% of transfer revenue being made available to us, though, is an absolute shocker. Wage budget wise, I've got 134k to play with. I'm currently spending 10k of that at 124 grand. Debts and loan wise, no transfer debt. The net debt is £20 million and overall balance is 8.2 million. So it continues to go up again. You know, when we started off, we had 9.17 and now we've got just over £8 million, currently set about 7.7. So we're in a decent place financially. So transfers wise then, the first player to leave us was Adrian Lapena. He has gone off to Girona, who were currently playing in the Liga. He didn't want to stay with us. They took him for 42k. and off he goes. So yes, we've actually lost a player to the Premier League. Not an ideal start for us, but away he goes. George Valin, he left and went to Benevento. He's gone off to Italy to play in the Serie A as well. 100k per week. He left us. Last season he played 11 times. Wasn't too happy, so he goes as well. And then Diego Gandoy, he has also left us and gone off to the Serie A. So you can see there's a bit of a thing here that my players did not want to stay with us. Even though we got promoted, they wanted to go on to bigger and better things. 60k they spent on him, and he's gone off to La Liga. 23-year-old Spaniard. He's all right. Again, he didn't play for us last season. He went out on loan to the league below us where he got 17 assists. But yeah, he just wanted out of the club, so we let him go. So coming in then, I have brought in some experience. So the first player I've brought in is Shinji Kagawa. Now this is a guy that was at Manchester United. He left Borussia Dortmund to go to them for £30 million and went back. He did actually play a few games for them as well. But he's been out of Greece where he played 23 times last season. We got him on a free transfer. I wanted someone to play behind the striker. First touch 16, technique 16, passing 15, flair 17. Hopefully he does bits for us. Current ability 3.5 star, obviously he's playing to his full potential as well. 98 caps for Japan, 31 goals. I'm explaining a lot about him here. I may have gone out on a limb. I've brought in a couple of older players, like I say. We just need the experience in the squad, and I think we've got a good player with plenty of international pedigree here. I then brought in Kun Temensukov. Now, this is a player I've had before in another rebuild. I think it may have been a Derby County rebuild. And he did good stuff for us. Now, we left on a free transfer from Leeds United. He was out on loan last season. He was in Spain, actually, where he scored 16 times in 32 appearances. Again, it was a couple of leagues lower, but he's decent. Acceleration 14, pace 13, finishing 13, composure 13. He'll do bits for us. Now, his current ability is 2.5 stars, potential ability 4 star. He's already been capped by Bulgaria, and he's 22-year-old. And he's valued up to 650k, and like I say, a free transfer, no brainer. Then I brought in Kevin Long, a 31-year-old Irish international, 19 caps, 1 goal. Experienced centre-back is his media description. He's playing to his full potential at 4 star. I got him from 70k from Burnley, where he played 6 times in the Premier League last season. And he's got decent attributes for what I'm after. So heading 16, marking 13, tackling 14, strength 17, aggression 17. Could be a little bit of a worry, but that heading 16 and jumping reach 16, he's not going to get beat in the air at least. Then I brought in Ivan Martos. Now we brought him in as a left back, a decent cover option there. Current ability 3.5 star, potential ability 4 star. 25-year-old Spaniard who I brought in on a free transfer from Almira, who were in the same league as us. He only played 6 times last season, but again he's a decent player. That determination 19 will hopefully push him on. A 25-year-old, he's not in his prime yet, and we're only paying him £4 a week. Then I brought in a Javi Marton. Now, this guy's probably not going to be a starter, as you can see there. Current ability 2 star, potential ability 2.5 star. But that finishing 16 and composure 15 is what made me go out on a limb for him. 23-year-old. We got him for 59k from Real Sociedad, where he played 9 times last season and scored 2 goals. So he did actually play even though he's out of favour. So yeah, Javi Martin, may not see too much of him, but a decent depth option. And then in the goalkeeping department, we really need to improve. And this guy, Ali Amada, what a player. Look at those stats and those attributes for him. Now, he's currently 30-year-old. He's got 29 caps for Camaros. He's a strong goalkeeper, playing to his full potential, which is only 2.5 star, 55k from Clermont. But hopefully, you know, he's coming in as my number 1. He'll do a decent job for us. Then I brought in a 29-year-old Englishman, Jake Bidwell, on a free transfer, an attack and fullback, again somebody who can play on that left-hand side, and I got him on a free transfer from Swansea, where he only played 6 times in the Championship last season. Very good player mentally, those stats incredible. Aggression and bravery both high, determination, work rate, stamina. Solid player for us, like I say, another option on that left-hand side, current ability 4 star, potential ability 4 star, and for a free transfer, we could sell him on for up to 750k. And then lastly then, I've brought in another experienced player, a veteran midfielder, Dimitri Leonard. 34-year-old Frenchman whose current ability is 3 star. Again, mentally very good. Technically decent as well. Free kick taken 17. Can play out on that left-hand side, but I'm going to play him in central midfield. He's obviously cracking on a bit now. Acceleration 10, pace 9. I'm not expecting him to be sprinting after players. I just want him to be able to pass that ball around. Passing 13 as well, vision 12. He spent a lot of time at Strasbourg, where he was actually the club captain, but we brought him in for 55k. He played 29 times in Ligue 1 last season, 34 games the season before. A very good player indeed. So tactics-wise then, we're going to stick with the 4-2-3-1 with Armada in goal, Bidwell, Long, Trigueros and Trilly coming in. Obviously this is a player that we promoted last season, very good player, will develop. Then Leonard and Valeras in the middle. Menudo, Kagawa and Mella, another player that I've just promoted from the reserve side. Current ability 3.5 star, potential ability 4.5 stars, so a very good player. And then Kun Temuskakov will play up front. I'm just going to call this guy Kun. I did in the last game that I had him in, so yeah, Kun hopefully will score goals for us. So that is how we're going to set up. We're going to play that tiki-taka on a positive mentality. It done us proud last season. Hopefully it'll do us proud again. Competitions-wise, and obviously we've got the La Liga Smart Bank, League 2, and then we've obviously got the Copa del Rey as well. I'm hoping for big things in the league at least, and a decent run in the cup competition would be good again. Dynamics-wise then, Team Keaton is average, club atmosphere is excellent, and Maggio support is good. Igor Gomez wants to leave. He can stay with us for the time being. I've only got 2 players that have no real opinion of us, and 0 players oppose us. Social groups-wise, obviously got a couple of players to try and fit in, but we're in a good place overall. And then look at the club vision. The aim for this season is to avoid relegation. My contract expires at the end of this season as well. So I need to have a very good performance, obviously, for them to put their faith in me for another couple of seasons. Finally then, looking at the season preview, we're expected a 12th place finish. That's the highest out of the promoted teams. 4 teams promoted last season. 12th place, 20-1 to win the league. Almira, Alaves, Eibar, Leganes and Cadiz, the top 5 teams. We've obviously got no players in the Media Dream 11, but Sandro in there, very good player. I'd put money on him being top goal scorer this season. So yes, a difficult season coming up. However, I think we've done some decent strengthening. I did have a little bit more money to play with, but I didn't want to go all out. So the aim is still to get promoted at the end of this season, back-to-back promotions into La Liga. I think it's going to be difficult. Let's see what happens. Right, so we've had a 15th place finish. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. 55 points on the board. A -9 goal difference as well. It hasn't been great for us this season. Let's have a look at it. So league table wise then, 42 games played, 14 wins, 13 draws, 15 defeats, 43 goals, 52 conceded, 43 goals though. -9 goal difference, 55 points. Our form towards the back end of the season, 4 defeats in our last 5 is not what you want. Mallorca and Zaragoza both getting promoted. Obviously, teams going in to the playoff places as well. But let's have a look at our past positions then. So how have we been? We have been all over the place. We've been as high as 6 with a 0-0 draw with Oviedo. But yeah, we've had a shocking back end to the season. Beaten 2-0 by Zaragoza, 3-0 by Cadiz, then 8-1 by Mallorca. We got absolutely smashed. A 1-1 draw with Alaves on the last day of the season has kept us down in 15th place. That is shocking. So we haven't been at the dizzying height of the top 2 spots. Mid-table, then ended up in 15th. Not ideal. What about our performance in the Copa del Rey? Then we were knocked out in the first round by Alicante. Not great there neither. So we've had a shocker across all competitions. What do the board think of it? Got a C+, and my contract's been extended by another 12 months. So I've got another 12 months to do something. I wanted back-to-back promotions, filled that first objective straight away. What about finances wise then? So this coming season, I've got £500,000 to spend. That is not ideal when I'm trying to push for promotion. I'm only getting 65% of the transfer revenue as well. Wage budget wise, I've got an extra 8k to spend. Debt and loans, £25 million in a debt. Obviously no transfer debt at the minute. When we look at the squad dynamics, then Team Cohesion's good. Club atmosphere is poor, and that's down to our recent run of form. Maggio support is very good. At least they're on my side. I've got 11 players to support us, 9 players that have no real opinion of us. Nobody's against me at the minute. You know, considering our form, that could have ripped me off. But looking at player stats then, the top goal scorer was Kun with 14 goals. Highest average rating was Dimitri Leonard with a 7.15. Most assists was Mella with 9. Mella, obviously his first season with us after being promoted. He's done quite well there. 42 games, 7 goals, 9 assists. Which isn't bad for an 18-year-old currently valued to £1 million. You know, 42 games played this season. Best pass completion was Trigueros with 99%. Kun had the most player of match awards with 4. Most yellow cards was Jake Bidwell with 12. And most red cards was Trilly with 1. Looking at the team stats then, we scored 43 goals, which is the 4th worst. So goal scoring is definitely the issue. I'm definitely going 2 up top next season. 100% are we going to play with 2 forwards. Goals conceded, 52, which is the 11th worst. Yellow cards wise, 41, which is the 4th best. And 1 red card, which is the 2nd best. We had a 2nd best average attendance as well. But tactically, you know, for me, I think we're going to end up now playing the old 4-2-4. I'm a creature of habit. Let's revert back to something like that. Maybe not the tiki-taka, which is sacrilegious in Spain, but I might change to something else. Maybe a Gengen press, who knows. Might go for a control possession, but definitely going to go with a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2, who knows. But we are going to have 2 strikers nonetheless. Having a look at the squad depth then, if I am going to go with the 2 up front, Kun is the best player up front, with Menudo up there as well. Menudo is the best player on the left, Mella on the right. Will not be changing anybody on that right, as Mella deserves his opportunity. Not got too much going on in the midfield, considering I'm playing with 2 midfielders. Granero, Villeras and Leonard in there. Leonard obviously cracking on a bit. We only wanted him for a season really, but we'll give him another year. Those attributes are incredible. And then when we go across the back four, we're quite decent there. Could do something better outright. However, Trilly, I am resting my hopes on this guy getting better, as we need him to develop quicker than what he is, if I'm honest. And then in goal, I've got Amada and McKay. McKay's about to leave us on a free transfer, 36-year-old now, and he's poor. How did Almada get on? So he played 32 times, conceded 38 goals, 12 clean sheets, an average rating of 7.01, so not bad for him at all. But yeah, we definitely need to improve in the midfield, out on the right-hand side, but I don't want anybody, like I say, who's going to take Mellor's position. So we have got work to do. Got to get goals in this team, unless we're going to struggle again next season. By the end of season 3, if we're not getting promoted, then I'm probably going to be out of a job. Right, guys, so season 3, we're at the halfway point, more or less. And I'm panicking. I'm really panicking that I just have not got the money, which is expected. You know, Deportivo have been in some financial trouble, but I have not got the money to bring in the players that I want. And I can't strengthen the squad as much as I would like. Now, I've brought plenty of players in. I've had plenty of players leave on free transfers at the end of their contract. However, I've not been able to bring the quality in. And I'm really worried this season that we're going to have another mid-table battle. And that's it. You know, we're not going to really play for anything. And I'm just going to be sat for the next 3 seasons in the Spanish second division, when the plan was obviously to just get promoted. Did I think I was going to win some silverware in this one? No. However, you know, we were meant to be trying to get established in the La Liga, and it's not looking great. So finances wise, we're not in a bad place. We've got just under £1 million, 993k in the bank, but spending that kind of money on a player that's not going to improve the squad, it's just not going to happen. I just cannot do it. 65% of the transfer revenue is still being made available. That doesn't help me at all. And wage budget wise, I'm just spending under the allocated 140k with 138k. Debt and loans now down to 19 million. Transfer debt 285. And overall balance is 7.6 million. So players that left then, Ian McKay, my goalkeeper, he has gone off. He's retired now and decided to be a goalkeeping coach with 8 attributes in those areas. Not ideal. Hector Hernandez, who was originally my left back when I first took over, has left me on a free transfer. He's gone to Huelva, and he played 1 game for his last season. Free transfer, off he goes. Alberto Quiles. Now, this guy was the one that got us basically into La Liga 2. 15 goals for his in 34 appearances, but he played 14 times last season, scored 1 goal, and he still hasn't found himself a club. And then Javi Marton, a player that I brought in last season and said would probably play for some games for us, didn't play a game. Not 1 game at all. We bought him 59k and I took a punt on him, and he's left on a free transfer and nobody's put him up yet. So Kagawara's left us. He was only with us for 1 season. Was fairly solid for us last season. Played 41 times, 3 goals, 1 assist, a 6.7 rating. He's left on a free transfer and gone to Frontale, back in Japan. Kevin Long also left us. He only got 1 season with us. He's now 33-year-old. He's still a very good player. Didn't want to renew his contract. We spent 70k on him. Played 34 times for us with 1 goal. And he's gone off to Lask in Austria on a free transfer. But then a big money move come in. Valares has gone off to Cadiz. And they bought him for £1.3 million. He played 42 times for us last season. He's in the same division as us. And that was his release fee clause, was £1.3 million. So he is gone. Like I said, I didn't get 100% of the transfer revenue from that though. Solid player, all-rounded. Playing to his full potential, 3.5 star. In that central midfield position, 27-year-old. Disappointed to see him go, Valares, as he's been decent for us. But we needed the money. And like I said, I couldn't refuse it anyway. So coming in then, first through the door was 25-year-old Spaniard, Tony Lato. Now his current ability is 4-star, potential ability 4.5 star. He is a left back by trade, a very good left back as well. And we got him on a free transfer from Valencia. Now that's the thing, I'm picking a lot of players up from B teams. He played 34 times for the Valencia's B side last season, where he got 1 goal and 5 assists. Solid all-round player, as you can see there. Early not great. I need him to get forward. Acceleration and pace both high. Crossing and dribbling good as well. The way I'm playing with that 4-2-4, because that's what I'm going with this season. We'll look at the tactics shortly. I need somebody that can get forward, and I reckon this guy will do it for us. Then I tried to strengthen out on the other side as well. Realistically, this guy's come in as a central defender. So Loa Calandre, a 31-year-old who's currently playing to his full potential of 3.5 stars. Got him on a free transfer from Manisa in Turkey, where he played 36 times last season, 2 goals, 5 assists, a 7.73 rate, and not bad. But obviously that was in Turkey's second division. Then I brought in Jacopo Segra. Now, he is a 26-year-old Italian. He's got a national reputation. Almost playing to his full potential, which is 4-star. Plays as a central midfielder. Stamina and determination, both 16. He's solid again. When we're looking at his all-round ability, he's decent. free transfer from Torino, where he actually played 5 times in the Serie A last season, so decent enough. A 6.65 rating does worry us, but when he went to Perugia, he played 38 times in Serie B and got a 7.05 rating, so he might have found his level playing for us in the Spanish second tier. Another player through the door then was Leonardo Senicola. Now another Italian 26-year-old, but can play out on both sides. Again, he's got decent pace and acceleration. 13 acceleration, pace 12. That crossing and dribbling now high again. He's currently playing to his full potential. And another free transfer from Sassuolo, where he's only played 1 time for them. Last season he was out on loan at Regina. 33 games played there. A 7 rating as well. And hopefully I found another player that just fits this league. And we continue bringing the players in then. I've brought in Juan Munoz, a striker with finishing 14, composure 13. Not the quickest, however, pace is 13. He got him in a free transfer from Leganes, who he did play for last season. The goals worry me now. He played 25 times as a striker and only scored 1 goal. And what a signing considering any goals there. I did say just before the break, we've got to find goals. And I bring in a striker that's only scored once last season. I am worried, however, you know, he's a free transfer. He's currently valued £1.4 million. And he's playing to his full potential almost. Hopefully, you know, he just had a bad season at Leganes and he gets goals for us this season. Another player through the door then was the Spaniard, 27-year-old Easy. Not a great player, I'm not going to lie. When you look at his defending attributes there, poor, early, not great. Just a squad depth option who can play out on both the wide sides, left and right in the attacking sense. Got him on a free transfer. He played a couple of divisions down last season. He played 37 times, scored 6 goals. I don't think we'll see too much from Easy, but you never know. You know, that acceleration and pace high, crossing and dribbling decent as well. He might get some game time. Then we brought in another striker with the acceleration of 15 but pace 11. So Julian Lobete, 23-year-old Spaniard, current ability 3-star, potential ability 4-star. That finishing 15 now was what made me look at him. He was at Real Sociedad. He played 20 times in their reserves last season, scored 7 goals, and we've got him on a free transfer. Then we brought in Cafu. Look at the size of this guy's neck. What an absolute tank that he is. But his strength is only 14. Looks like he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Hopefully he can carry us to La Liga. With 3.5-star current ability and potential. 30-year-old, he's capped at under 20 level of Portugal, but he is a central midfielder. We got him on a free transfer from Forest. He played 27 times in the Portuguese Premier League last season, where he scored 3 goals and got 5 assists. But a decent player, another all-rounded player, probably the most all-rounded player that we've got. Those long shots, 14 passing, 12 tackling tub. You know, it's not top tier, but neither are we. Then I brought in Juan Carlos, a 32-year-old Spaniard, experienced attacker midfielder, can play in the midfield, can play further forward, passing and technique and vision all good, that flair as well. You know, he might bring something different to the squad. We got him on a free transfer from Huesca. He played 24 times last season, a 6.5 rating, no, not ideal. But I'm probably going to play him deeper. You know, we haven't got that attacker midfield position anyway. So Juan Carlos may be the difference this season. When we look at the tactic then, I am playing a 4-2-4. We're playing an attacking tiki-taka. Amada's going to be in goal. Lato, Granero, Landre and Senicola out wide, with Cafu and Segre in the middle. Doncel and Akatexa out wide. For the minute anyways, Mella is injured. And then Kun and Lobete up front. This team, I don't know how well it's going to perform. I am worried, like I said, I haven't been able to strengthen as much as I'd want to. And although I've got almost £1 million in the bank, I just didn't want to waste it on any old player. So competition-wise again then, you know, we've got La Liga and we've got the Copa del Rey. What is the expectation then for the season preview? We're expected a 10th place finish this time, 11-1. No players again in that Media Dream 11. I didn't expect it. You know, we have been quite poor with our recruitment this season. I will hold my hands up to that. You know, but you've got to play with the hand you've been dealt, and that's just where we find ourselves. Teams promoted then, Barcelona B, Villarreal B, and Vigo B. Miranda's there as well. With teams relegated from the Liga last season, Valladolid, Sporting Gijon and Girona. You know, they're teams that have been promoted in the past, so we've got a lot of work to do. Alaves favourites to go up. From the dynamic screen then, Team Gijon and club atmosphere is average. Managerial support is excellent though. They're loving that. They're loving me being there, which is good. I've got one team leader, which is Granero, and 20 players as supporters, 5 players that have no real opinion of us. I just want to get this season out the way. I am massively worried about what is to come in this season. And you know, I've got 12 months left in my contract, and I could be out of a job at the end of it. We just need to push for a promotion. We've just got to get into the top 6 and pray that the playoffs are kind to us and we just get through that way, because I can't see us finishing in the top 2. So what we're going to do then, guys, we're going to move forward. As I was really pessimistic of us. You know, I wasn't really enthusiastic about our chances, but let's give it a go. What we're going to do is we're going to skip forward then to the end of season 3, and we'll just say a little prayer, and hopefully we've got a promotion. Right then, guys, so we absolutely bossed it. Look at that league table there. Top of the league, 80 points on the board. 1 point clear of Sporting Gijon and Barcelona B, who obviously B teams can't get promoted. So they've ended up on 79 points, which means 4th to 7th place get the plus. But who cares? We get top spot. But I have got a confession to make. I absolutely bottled it as far as the tactic goes. And the impact that it's had on the results is incredible. So I went with the diamond. I said I wanted the 2 up top, and looking at my options out wide, we weren't great, so I've gone with the diamond, and obviously it's proved to be a success. Now, I just want to talk you through why I made this decision. So looking at the schedule wise, we had a shocking start to the season. A 1-1 draw with Barcelona B. We were smashed 4-0 by Cadiz, and then we lost 3-2 to Cartagena. Extremadura, we lost 1-0 to. Then I switched the formation, and here you can see down this bottom corner, I switched to the diamond. A 3-1 victory there. We were 3-0 up at half time. And then look at our form. Yes, we dropped off a little bit. I lost 3-0 there to Valencia, obviously in the Copa del Rey where we went out, but form has been fantastic. And then when we look at our league performance overall, 42 games, 24 wins, 8 draws, 10 losses, 80 goals scored. I assume that's the best in the league. So, best in the league for goals, 45 conceded, plus 35 goal difference, 80 points on the board, like I say, 1 point clear of Sporting Gijon. And when we look at those past positions, look, that says it all, didn't it? That started the season there, and then the only way was up after the change to formation. The narrow diamond working in our favour there. So looking in competitions wise, then I said we were knocked out in the 3rd round by Valencia, and we ended up winning the league. So 3 seasons in, we didn't do it back to back. However, it's taken me 3 seasons, and now we're playing in a top tier again. And we're back where Deportivo belongs. So finances wise, and this season coming, I've got 11.5 million to spend, and I'm getting 65% of transfer revenue. I'm going to make a board request there and see if I can increase that percentage. We'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. My wage budget's 191k. I'm currently spending 134k. I need to do something about this wage budget because we're going to need to attract some higher caliber player, and having 200k per week on wages is not going to cut it. You know, when you look at what other teams in La Liga will be spending, that's not going to be anywhere near enough. Looking at the dynamics, then you'd think the team were buzzing and not. Team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is good, and Maggio support is very good. We've got plenty of players that want to leave, not a problem. I'll be having to clear out anyway, as I've got 12 players as supporters, 11 players that have no real opinion of us, but nobody opposes us. I just cannot believe we've won the league. It's absolutely mental. As we start to look at the player performance then, so Julen Labate is the top goal scorer with 24 goals. That's got to be the most in his career, is it? Yeah, so 22 goals in 41 appearances, 9 assists, 6 player of the match performances. I wonder how that fares with the rest of the players in the league. So having a look then, top goal scorer was Miguel De La Fuente with 26 goals, Mesa in 2nd place, and then Labate with 22 goals, which is a fantastic achievement. Highest average rating then was Munoz with a 7.31. Most assists was Moendo with 13. Best pass completion was Trigueros with 96%. Most player of the match awards, Labate with 7. Most yellow cards, Cafu with 13. And most red cards, 1 apiece for Bidwell, Landre and Cafu. What about team-wise then? So team stats-wise, we scored 80 goals, which is the best. We conceded 45, which is the 7th best. Yellow card-wise, 56, which is the 9th worst. Red cards, 3, which is the 5th worst. And we had the best average attendance overall. I cannot believe we've just got promoted. I was bricking it when this season started that was it, game over. We were never going to progress, and we were going to be stuck in Spain's 2nd tier for the rest of this save. So to get promoted, scenes, absolute carnage. By 1 point, yes, but we've got there, and that's all that matters. So what we're going to do then is we're going to try and spend this 11.5 million, as I've now got some money to play with, and there's an exciting transfer window ahead. Right, so what a difference having some money in the bank makes. It really does. You know, we've been able to go out and improve the squad. I've added some youth, but I've also added some experience. As we get into Season 4 now, our first season in the Liga, I'm expecting a battle against relegation this season, but when we look at the finances, I've still got 1.2 million left. We are getting 80% of that transfer revenue. Should I make any further sales, which won't be happening now. Wage budget-wise, I've currently got a 229k wage budget, and I'm spending 226. Overall balance looking decent at £16 million, and those debt and loans, that net debt decreasing lovely. So, as it stands, we're in quite a decent place going in to our first season back in the Liga. So players leaving the club then. The first player out the door was Igor Gomez. He has gone off to Guarani in Brazil. Now that's in their 2nd tier as well. 71k they spent on him. You know, we made a bit of a loss on him after I brought him in for 105k. It was one of my first signings at the club. He's played 19 times for them already. 1 goal and 3 assists. Alex Coburn, my second choice goalkeeper who I took on last season, has left us for 325k to Burnley. He played 3 times for us last season, 4 goals conceded, and he's not great. Burnley are absolutely mental, but I'll take the money. And then coming in then, the first player through the door was Matthias Laborda. 24-year-old Uruguayan, national reputation centre-back with a balanced personality. Now, his technicals are fantastic. Heading 16, marking 16, tackling 15, all what I want from one of my central defenders. Now, he would prefer to be out on that right-hand side as a right-back, but I am going to play him as a centre-back. He's come in and he's injured already, so he's got a torn thigh muscle. He's out for 4 weeks to 2 months. Not ideal. We brought him in for 575k from Watford, where he played 3 times in the Championship last season. That doesn't worry us. He played 12 times in the Premier League beforehand. And he's almost playing to his full potential, which is 4 stars. Currently valued up to £1.3 million as well. I'm very happy to get this guy in. He's a really good addition to my centre-back options. Then I spent some big money bringing in Philip Ronigan Jorgensen. What a name that is. The 22-year-old Norwegian. He's got 16 under-21 caps, 1 goal there. An all-rounded central midfielder. He's not great aerially, if I'm honest, you know. Heading 8, jumping reach 7. Natural fitness 9 worries me a little bit anyway. However, I'm hoping those areas will improve. He's currently valued up to £6 million. His current ability is 3.5 star. His potential ability 4.5 star. I brought him in for £2.7 million from Borussia Dortmund, but he was playing in their second side last season in the German third tier. 29 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist. Decent player, you know, 2.7 million. I may have overspent a little bit there, but again, he's a better option in my midfield. Then I got in a free transfer, the 23-year-old Spaniard, Cesar Hellebuert. Now, he has joined us on a free transfer from Arandes. A couple of leagues below us now, 31 games, 3 goals, 6 assists last season. A decent player, and I'm just looking at a depth option here. Now, he is going to play behind a striker, but can also play in midfield. 16 flair and vision. Good for me. Passing 14 high as well. Current ability 2.5 star. Potential ability 4.5 star. Really good. He is more on the attacking side there though. Then I've gone out and spent money on Lucas Zidane. Now this is Zinedine Zidane's son. 26-year-old goalkeeper. 29 caps for Algeria. Better than what we've got already. He's currently playing to his full potential at 3.5 stars. 26-year-old, like I say, and I got him for 165k from Vallecano, who were currently playing in La Liga. However, he hasn't played for a fair few seasons. And then finally then, I've gone out on a limb here, bringing in a 20-year-old Turk who's currently got 26 caps for the under-21s with 8 goals, Omar Beyaz. Now, he plays behind a striker, can also play in midfield. He's got a fairly ambitious personality and he's currently valued up to 6.8 million. He's got some decent attributes, he's also got some really poor ones. So that technique at 16, composure 18, flair 16, vision 15 as well. Off the ball at 12 isn't too bad. That first touch at 14, really decent. Long shots for me is the thing that he's missing at 8. I would like him to try some shots from distance, but we brought him in for £3 million from Stuttgart, where he played 27 times in their second team last season with 1 assist. But for me, a very good player, and hopefully he'll improve massively over the next couple of seasons. And then I've gone out and spent more big money on Jerome Nguyen. Now, I've spent an absolute bucket load on his wages, 25k a week. That's over double what the nearest player to him is getting. Cameroonian with 22 caps, 26-year-old. For me, he's a really good player. He can play as a centre-back, but I am going to play him at the base of the diamond. And when we look at his attributes for there, bravery 17, aggression 14, anticipation 13, that pace, stamina and strength all good as well. Position and teamwork and work rate, all solid as well. Now, I got him in for 1.7 million from Bournemouth after they spent 3.5 million on him last season. He didn't play a game in the Premier League, but he did play 23 games for St Etienne in Ligue 1. And he's a quality player. Again, another player that I hope develops nicely over his next couple of seasons and will help take our game to another level. So looking at the tactic then, I am going to stick with that 4-4-2 diamond with Zidane in goal, Bidwell, Trigueros, Laborda and Senicola at the back with Ogweny in that holding role, Ronigan Jorgensen in the middle with Segre, with Omar Beyaz playing behind Munoz and Lebete. Now I haven't improved up front, these two guys got us here, so let's give them an opportunity. And when we look at the dynamics then, so team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is average, and managerial support is very good. I've got players that have got issues, not worried about that for the time being. I've got 1 team leader, and I've got 12 players across the team and supporters, 11 players that have no real opinion of us. Competitions wise again, obviously I've got La Liga now and we've got the Copa del Rey, but it's time that we start pushing on in that cup competition anyways. We're not really going to do anything in La Liga over the next couple of seasons, but having a look at the season preview then and their expectations, we're 1,000 to 1 to get relegated, so we are favourites to go down this season. And naturally I've got no players in the Media Dream 11. However, Jack Grealish is playing for Barcelona. How much did they spend on him? £65 million. Not good business from Manchester City there, but yeah, he has fallen out of favour. He only played 7 games the season before. So Jack Grealish, welcome to La Liga. Hopefully he doesn't do too much damage to us. But it's not looking good for us this season. So if we can stay in the league, we are on to a winner. So that is the plan then, guys. You know, not done too much as far as change of formation goes. But we have got some good additions to the squad. So hopefully that'll make the difference this season. As like I say, I wanted to take our game to another level. The quality of the team, I think we've definitely improved it. You know, are we going to challenge the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona? No chance. But Sporting Gijon, Alaves, Vallecano, Elche, Atletico Pamplona and teams like that, we may have a chance against them. So yes, let's go through Season 4, where the plan is to battle bravely against relegation. Right guys, so we're not relegated. I've survived. We finished in 13th place. Don't get me wrong. We're only 7 points clear of the drop. Alaves, who went down with 35 points. But a 13th place finish nonetheless. We're a point behind Getafe. But yeah, then the gap between us and the teams above is obviously massive. But that doesn't matter. Does not matter at all as we finished in 13th place. When we look at the league table then, we played 38 games, 12 wins, 6 draws, 20 defeats. 46 goals scored, 69 conceded. That's poor, 69 conceded. Minus 23 goal difference, 42 points on the board. Our last 5 games were shocking. 1 win in the last 5, 3 defeats and a draw. But looking at those past positions then, you know, we've minced about. We were up as high as 5th at one point with a 2-0 victory over Gijon before dropping down. And yeah, it was the last couple of games of the season we were actually up in 11th place before we fell off with a 3-2 defeat to Real Betis. And then we ended up getting smashed by Atletico Madrid 4-0 as well, but we remain in the same position. What about in the competitions wise then? So like I say, a 13th place finish in the league. But we got to the quarter final where we were knocked out by Sevilla. Let's have a look. So we were knocked out in extra time as well, 2-1. Atletico Madrid win against Barcelona 1-0. There was an opportunity obviously for us to go further, but it didn't happen this time. But what about finances then? So transfer budget wise, I've got £40 million to spend in this coming transfer window. We're only getting 75% of transfer revenue. That's not great. Again, I'm going to make that request that we get a bigger percentage. They'll get back to me shortly. Wage budget wise, I've got 389k now and I'm currently spending 227. So there's a lot to play with there as well. But as you can see from the finances, they've really took a bump over the last season. We've now got £18 million in the overall balance and debt and loan. That transfer debt minus 133k now and 4.9 million at the net debt. So what about dynamics then? Team cohesion's good. Club atmosphere is average. That's obviously to do with the form. We currently have 6 players that are unhappy as well. Maggio support is very good. These players here, if I've got the opportunity to move them on, I probably will do now. As far as top influencers goes then, I've got 2 team leaders, Trigueros and Munoz, my captain and vice captain. 19 players support me overall. 2 players I have no real opinion of as Trilly and Omar Bayas. How did he get on? How many games did he play? So we only made 3 starts, 15 substitute appearances. Didn't get a goal though, so not the greatest season for him, a 6.53. We did spend big money on him, but he's valued up to £5 million should I try to offload the guy in the summer. And then what about player stats wise? And so the top goal scorer was Juan Munoz. What an achievement that is with 23 goals. Looking at it, he got 19 goals this season, 17 the season before when we were down in La Liga 2. It's incredible. I wonder how he got on in comparison to everybody else in the league. Let's have a look. So we actually finished in joint 7th place, equal on goals with Ansu Fati, Memphis Depay there with 29 goals, with 7 clear of Santi Mina in 2nd place. But that's still an unbelievable achievement. He also got the highest average rating with a 7.24. Most assists was Lato with 14. Best pass completion was Aguene with 97%. Most player of the match awards was Munoz with 5. Most yellow cards was Cafu with 15, but no red cards. So he scored 46 goals, which is the 10th worst. 69 conceded, which is the 4th worst. Yellow cards, 62, which is the 4th worst, and no red cards. We had the 9th best average attendance, so not bad at all. I think for me, though, we need to have a look, obviously, at the squad depth. I've got some money to play with now, but we do look decent. Definitely need to improve behind the striker. In the midfielder, Ronigan Jorgensen, he's quality. With Sagri in there as well. Obviously, Cafu, he's cracking on a bit now. How old is he? 32-year-old. It might be time for him to move on. In the defensive positions, we're stacked. Across the back, we're decent. Need to sort out that goalkeeping option now. As Armada, he's leaving. He wants to go on a free transfer. As he'd like to explore his options at the end of his contract. So there you go. So he will be leaving us. And Lucas Zidane, how did he get on overall? So an average rating of a 6.9. He conceded 65 goals in 35 appearances. And we only made 8 clean sheets overall. which isn't ideal. However, like I say, we've survived. That was the main thing, just to stay in the league. We've managed to be able to consolidate, and we go again next season. So what we're going to do then, guys, is we're going to go for a mega rebuild this time round. £14 million isn't a massive amount of money, but it is a war chest for us. We've had nothing to spend throughout the first 3 campaigns at least. So yes, we're going to go for it this time round, as I've got one more season to try and get some silverware. So that's it then, guys. My last transfer window in charge of Deportivo La Coruña, and that is it. So I've still got almost 2 weeks to bring players in, but I'm not going to do anything else. That is as done now, as I've got 4.2 million in the transfer budget still left to spend. Like I say, nothing going to happen there. I'm 10k under the wage budget. Debt and loans, we've now wrote off that net debt. Transfer debt's 100k. Who gives the monkeys? Overall balance, £32 million now. As that balance continues to rise, financially, we're going to leave the club in a decent place, unless it's catastrophic this season, which I think we're much stronger than we were last season, and we had a mid-table finish, and now obviously we've got to push on this season. So looking at the transfers, Pablo Tigueros, he has left us. He's gone off to Lugo, went for 100k, only played 1 game last season, and as my club captain, playing 1 game isn't ideal, so we've let him go. He's been good for us all the way through, you know. He joined us in that first season, and he was ever present up until the last, just didn't cut it in La Liga, especially with the additions that we brought in. So I think it was time, for the good of his career, to move him on. And I mentioned Cafu just before the break. He's getting on now, 32-year-old. That's the only reason he's gone. He was a decent player for us, played 36 times last season. He's gone to Famalicão. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. It's good enough for me. For 400k, played 2 games already. And then Jake Bidwell, this guy's attributes though, his mental's incredible, but at 32-year-old now, and he took up a non-EU place, and I've brought some players in that also needs those EU places. So Girona's come in with a 100k offer. He played 14 times for us last season, but I've let him go. I have given this guy away. He could have stayed with us till the end of this now. He's good enough to play. So the first player through the door then is the 28-year-old Englishman, Nat Phillips. Now he joins us from Liverpool. He's a centre-back. He's a decent centre-back as well. Acceleration and pace, a bit on the slower side, but heading, mark and tackling all good. Currently playing to his full potential, which is only 3-star. We've brought him in for a free transfer. He played 2 games last season for Liverpool. Didn't feature too much. He had a shocker though there, a 6.1. But I think it's a decent addition to the squad again. Then I've brought in the 28-year-old Northern Irish international, Bailey Peacock Farrell. Now this guy can blow hot and cold. He's looked like he's developed nicely across this save with those goalkeeping attributes solid. He's currently valued for 550k. He's a nomadic goalkeeper. He obviously gets about. He was out at Crystal Palace last season where he played 9 times and conceded 21 goals. That is a worry. A 6.37 rating, but he is better than Lucas Zidane. Then I've brought in a 31-year-old Croat. He's with 2 caps as well. Dino Peric. Again, his technical defensive attributes. Heading 16, marking 15. Tackling 17. Strength 15. That acceleration at 8 though is a problem. You know, we could get caught with the ball over the top. We bought him for 750k. After he was signed on free by FC Copenhagen last season, he played 14 times, a 6.81 rating. He was very good for Dynamo, and he's going to be good for us. Aggression 16, bravery 16, jump and reach 19. 6'6". He won't be beaten in the air too often, and he could be a danger on set pieces. Then I spent big money, £7 million on Manu Garcia. He's being capped by Spain, so we've got a fully capped Spanish international with us. 27-year-old attacking midfielder with first touch 16, passing 15, technique 16, vision 16, flair 17. He's got it all about him. Those long shots at a 9 now do let him down. When we look at his career stats, he was at Monza last season in Serie B in Italy. He played 38 times, 2 goals, 3 assists, a 6.96 rating. They took him on for 2.4 million, and we've ended up spending probably over the odds there at £7 million. And then finally, I've brought in Domingos Quina, a 25-year-old Portuguese under-20 international who's currently valued at 4.9 million, playing to his full potential. Determination, flair 16. He's a very good player. Aerially, I don't know what it is with these midfielders. You know, they don't like to challenge for the ball. Aerially poor. Jump and reach 5. Heading 7. But when we look at what I paid for him, 1.8 million. That's what Hertha paid for him a couple of seasons before. He played 11 times in the Bundesliga, a 6.8 rating. There are add-ons in this. It could raise to 2.1 million. But he's a quality player who can play again midfield or behind a striker. So the team set up then, tactically, we're still going to stick with the diamond. It's done us proud. As I've got Peacock Farrell in goal, Lato, Peric, Phillips and Senny Kohler at the back with Alguene, Manny Garcia and Ronigan Jorgensen in the midfield. Quina, Muniz and then No Lopez. No Lopez has been with us since day dot. hanging about in the B team. He went out on loan last season when he scored 13 times. Proven goal scorer in the lower leagues, and he's been promoted. I think it's time. Let's give this guy a go. Acceleration 14, pace 15, that finishing at 10, but that's only going to improve. Dribbling, first touch high, current ability 2.5 star, potential ability 4.5 star. He's being capped under 19 level. Let's give him a go. What's the worst that can happen? I suppose what the worst that can happen is we get relegated with him up top, but my assistant manager will make that decision whether he plays or not. I have got players unhappy. I'm not worried about that though. His team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is average, and manager support is very good. When we look at the hierarchy then, I've got 8 players to support us, 14 players that have no real opinion of us, and I've just got 1 team leader. And looking at the social groups, I've got plenty of players in the secondary social group. We're not all together as it stands. Competitions wise again then, obviously we've got La Liga and the Copa del Rey. And what is the expectation for La Liga this season? So we're expecting a 17th place finish, not bad at all, 500 to 1 now. Naturally we've still got no players in the Media Dream 11. That was never going to happen, but we are continuing to develop as a club. We are doing some really good stuff. What's the club vision like at the minute? So I've got a B+. The board are very pleased with your overall leadership of the team. I'm on course to work within the wage budget. However, they are very disappointed I haven't signed players under the age of 23. The expectation for this season is to fight bravely against relegation and to reach the 3rd round as a bare minimum in the Copa del Rey. I'm buzzing with those expectations, as I reckon we can beat both of them. And then finally, I just want to touch on the squad depth. I still think we're in a very strong place. You know, attacking wise, Juan Munoz is the best striker at the club. Behind the strikers, Manu Garcia goes in as my #1 attacker midfielder. Ronigan Jorgensen is the best midfielder at the club, with Jackpo Segura and Manu Garcia there as well. Kinner in there as well. You know, I'm stacked in the midfield, which is good because I'm playing too. And that's the same in that defensive midfield position. Out on the left-hand side, Tony Lato's the best player there. And Lombarda out on the other side. Onguene is my best central defender apparently, but we'll go Laborda, Nat Phillips, Perrick, you know, stacked. And then goalkeeper-wise, it probably didn't get the best goalkeeper I could, but Peacock Farrell, another player with international pedigree. Him and Lucas Zidane, you know, made the best man win for the #1 jersey. And then when we look at the schedule, we start off with games against Granada, Pamplona, Villarreal, Levante and Atletico Madrid. So 5 big games there. A couple I reckon we could win. Pamplona and Levante, potentially games we could get past. Granada, Villarreal, who knows? So yes, what we're going to do then is we're going to simulate this last season where hopefully, you know, we've survived. The main aim was to get us back into La Liga. We've done that, but can we stay there for this final season? So that is it then, guys. Another 5 seasons down. Deportivo La Coruña, as you can see there, sat in 10th place. Mid-table, 53 points on the board. We're only 5 points behind Valencia in 6th place. And we had a shocking end to the season by the look of it as well. We lost 3 of our last 5 games. A 1-0 defeat to Real Madrid. 3-1 against Real Sociedad. 5-1. We got absolutely smashed by Sevilla. We then won Espanyol 4-2 and drew 0-0 with Celta Vigo. So we had the opportunity in those last 5 games to close the gap. We just could not do it. When we look at the league table, we did get European football, which means, let's just quickly get to this. We've won the Copa del Rey. How have we won the Copa del Rey? A 1-0 victory over Real Betis. Juan Munoz with a goal on 50 minutes. And we need to witness this together then. A Sir Nicola to Noel Lopez. Lopez, you know, he's done good stuff for us. What a goal that is. There we go, we'll take it. And they could not respond. And we end up winning 1-0 there. We must be a victim of circumstance there. Because what happened in the semi-final? Real Madrid and Barcelona didn't even get to the semis. Where did they go out? They didn't even get to the quarters. So they've gone out even earlier than that. Tenerife beat Barcelona 1-0. And Real Madrid went out 2-1 to Athletic Bilbao. So we've worked our way through with a 3-2 extra time victory over Vigo in the quarter-final. Then in the semi-final, we had a 5-4 aggregate victory over Valencia. And then we win in the final. So yeah, we've basically won the Copa del Rey because we haven't really come up against any of the elite teams there. We've dodged them all. We've had an easy route, but who cares? You know, in that last season, I did not expect us to get anywhere near the Copa del Rey final. And we've only went and won it at the Bernabeu. Anyway, back to this league table. We played 38 games, won 13, drew 14 in those draws and lost 11. Quite an average season, I would say there, but we did score 53 goals, conceded 49, plus 4 goal difference, 53 points on the board. Cannot believe it. And we've got the Europa League next season. What about finances and how am I leaving the club? So I'm leaving the club with an overall balance of £24 million in the bank. Transfer budget is 12 million and the wage budget is 489k. What about these debt and loans then? Sorted, left them financially stable. What are the board thinking about all this? So, has it got an A minus? To summarise, the board are delighted with your leadership qualities you are demonstrating. Last season's successes remain fresh in our memories, and our appraisal of your current performance takes that fully into account. And the end of next season, realistically, if we were to continue to play on, they just want us to avoid relegation again and reach the group stage as a bare minimum in the Europa League. Looking at the squad dynamics and team cohesion is very good, club atmosphere is average, and managerial support is very good. Obviously, every season we have players that want to leave, want better contracts. I've got 19 players as supporters, 2 players that have no real opinion of us, and no players opposers. Kun and Trilly both don't support us. And then what about player stats then? So Munoz gets 21 goals this season. I think he's been our top goal scorer now in the last 3 seasons. 19 the season before, 15 this season in 32 appearances. Not bad going at all. He also had the ice average rating at 7.34. Most assists though, Mella, Senikola, Jorgensen and Kina all getting 8 assists apiece. Best pass completion was Laborda with 95%. Most player of the match awards was Munoz with 9. Most yellow cards was Ongweni with 12. And most red cards was Lato and Senikola with 1 apiece. And then when we look at the team stats, we scored 53 goals, which is the 6th best. We conceded 49, which is the 7th worst. Yellow cards wise, 47, which was the 8th best. 2 red cards, which is the 4th worst. And we had the 9th best attendance again. But how did the rest of the squad get on when we look at goals then? So Munoz with 21, but David Mellor with 20. So obviously this is a guy that we had in our under-19s at the start of the save. And he has scored 20 goals this season after scoring 4 the season before. Now, we were originally playing him out on the wide areas, and we have pushed him up front as we're now playing that narrow diamond. Finishing 9 though, and he still managed to bag 20 goals. And Noah Lopez, another player that we've just promoted from the under-19s, has only gone and scored 7 goals in his debut season in the first team, which is massive. You know, what a player. 11 goals in all competitions, 4 in the cup. And then when we look at assists, like I say, plenty of players there on 8 assists. Munoz on 6, Garcia on 6 as well. So we've had a fantastic season. With that £12 million to go in again, I reckon we could definitely be pushing for those top 6 places. So what about the milestones then? In 2021, I was hired as Deportivo's manager. In 2022, we were promoted as champions of the Spanish 3rd tier. We were then promoted as champions of the Spanish 2nd tier 2 seasons later. And we've just won the Copa del Rey in the last season. So not bad. It took us 3 seasons to get promoted. Then we had 2 seasons in the top tier. Yes, we've had 2 mid-table finishes, but then we've just won the Copa del Rey. So I think that's quality. I think we've done a really good job there. I did not expect to win any silverware. It would have been a massive push. I did say at the start, we were never going to challenge for La Liga, but an absolute cracking achievement nonetheless. And then when we look at the overview, I brought in a total of 33 players for a transfer value of 19 million. Players sold 18 for a total value of 4 million. My highest fee spent was 7 million on Manu Garcia, and my highest fee received was 1.3 million for Valeres. I spent 1,777 days in the job, and I spent a total of 95% of it on holidays. So kudos to my assistant manager, he's done a fantastic job. So there we go then, guys, wrapped up, a mid-table finish, but a bit of silverware to end it off in the Copa del Rey. And I thoroughly enjoyed this save, obviously, as we've had a mix of youth and experience, obviously, coming in, as well as the challenging finances as well. That was really difficult over the first couple of seasons, especially that second season. I didn't think we were going to get out of the 2nd tier for the remaining 4 years, but we've managed to do it. So yes, thank you very much for watching. If you have watched, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate your continued support massively. So thank you very much. Stay safe. I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.